Good morning. I hope you're well. I downloaded for a video game at the start of this year, and I'm finally doing something about it because I'm filming this video and I just want to introduce it to you in the world, really. Otherwise, it's just going to stay in my head for the next decade, and I'm not going to do anything about it, and I'm going to end up in an industry that I can't feel like I can leave. And right now I'm very nimble, so I feel like if I share it, I'll be able to sleep tonight much better than I did last night. So yeah, the video game, it's a first-person shooter as well as a third-person like dogfighting game like you'd see in like the old battlefields where you're like flying jets around and stuff. But the game is called FLYBORGS, and the idea is that you are playing as like these cybernetic flies, like the thing you'll fight flying around your house at the moment. And each of their legs is a different weapon. So like the front two legs have like turret guns baked into them. Think like those like Mega Man blaster things, or like a Star Wars like gunfight with red and blue lasers flying around. And then the middle two are, and I'm not stealing from Star Wars, I promise, but the middle two are like laser swords. And if you were like, say you're flying and you did like a barrel roll, the lasers would like shoot out and do like this circular blitz thing, and anything in the way would just get sliced. And then the back two, and I love this one, is like a chemical spray, and it's twofold. One is like a boost to give you like nitrous oxide, but secondly it's like fly spray. So if another fly gets caught in it, it like gets all toxic and chemified, and it corrodes and then eventually falls out of the sky or something like that. Maybe it gives them like a 20-second window to live before they start spiraling out of control. There's heaps of different inspirations for this game, but the first one I had was when I just saw some flies flying around my house, and I was just so fascinated by their flight pattern, especially when I was trying to swat them out of the sky because they're kind of gross or whatever. And they were so resilient, but also, yeah, it was just the way they hovered, And I remembered about those bug assault weapons that exist. I think that's what they're called. I don't know about that internationally, but that's what they're called in New Zealand. They're like these little handheld pistols or guns that you can load with salt and then shoot at flies around the house, which doesn't sound like a great idea because you just get salt everywhere. But anyway, I had this thought of like, why don't you imagine if you could shrink those down to the size of a fly and then have like this fly on fly combat, and it would just be like a cool spin on a first person shooter. I know it's a pretty saturated market, but it just sounded fun, And then I started doing some research, downloaded Blender, tried to build a donut, that didn't work very well. I just got busy, I had other things on. And then I eventually kind of realized that just flies aren't that sexy. Like, I want this to be like a free-to-play game. That's obviously kind of the meta structure of how you sell games nowadays. So if you're selling skins and whatever to make it profitable, that doesn't fly. Haha. When it's a fly, because they're just gross. People don't want to be buying a different skin for their fly, right? So all of a sudden the flies have armor on, and it was going to be like baked into them, and if their weapons are like, we can upgrade those. So that's kind of where the inspiration seed of the idea came, all the way through to where it's at now. And I just love it for so many reasons. Like, for one, I can just imagine a couple of 7-year-olds being like, Dad, can we play FLYBORGS now, please? Like, just the name of it has such a... It just has such like a ring of purity to it. There's like elements of obviously like nature and culture baked in, and I just always love that dichotomy. And I love that it actually is differentiated from every other shooter I think I've played. Like, every other weapon seems to be two-handed, one behind the camera, the other one kind of holding it and stabilizing it. But for me, I can imagine like each turret. Like, I'm not sure if this is how the button layout is gonna be or not, but I thought like it would be like akimbo guns all the time. So you pull either trigger and that's when only one gun starts shooting, and you can like I can imagine the turret guns, and forgive me if I lose some of you here, but like they're like the plasma pistol from Halo, where you can charge up a shot and it becomes homing seeking, because otherwise how the hell are you going to be shooting these flies out of the sky, you know? Like, yeah. Just to keep momentum, because this is a different tangent now. But the original game was also going to be called Salt. The idea being that you're shooting these salt guns, but also that it encouraged saltiness. And I don't mean that like I want to cultivate a really toxic community, but I'm a big fan and advocate of like 1v1 me Rust, bro, from like the MW2 days. And I want to kind of capture that market and give them a place where like the combat is highly specialized and like has a massive skill ceiling in all sorts of different avenues. So you can kind of be a jack of all trades, master of none, or you can be like an expert at flying and you can just not be that good at shooting yourself. So I want to cultivate that community, which means there's definitely going to be a ranked mode. I'd love for there to be an esport, but I don't know how it's going to be a visually entertaining game to watch without it just divulging into chaos, if you know what I mean. And I had one other thought just then, but I can't think about it. Anyway, this video is already getting long. It was just meant to be an introductory thing, so I'll leave it there. If you've made it this far, thank you for entertaining my thoughts and dreams as well. You know, like this is just fun, and I look at all the different avenues of my life. Not many of them look that fun. A lot of them are very pragmatic, and this one isn't pragmatic. It's just fun. So yeah, thanks for listening, and have a great day.